The development of the course was very much linked to the fact that we knew that the staff team had to be very good. They had to be experts in their field, but they also had to be really good with people, dealing with change, taking responsibility. So that staff team has been created out of a pool of people who actually are passionate about education and also not afraid to step in and manage behaviour and manage emotional issues and liaise with employers and liaise with parents and other professionals involved with those young people. So that staff team, once you've got the funding, the staff team is critical to actually making the whole thing work.
You've got to be really good at doing a lot of assessments of things, and you've got to be able to at the same time be engaged, like fully engaged with something. It's impossible this, but this is what you've got to do. You've got to be fully engaged with the young person, but at the same time part of you needs to be up near the ceiling looking round at what's going on elsewhere, because there's a lot going on elsewhere. I mean, it really helps having a learning support person in with you to sort of, point things out to you. You need to be able to put yourself in other people's place. You need to have patience. You need to have a lot of patience. But the main thing is you've got to really like young people, and you've got to not be offended by them. You've got to understand that young people, that's their role to challenge authority. That's, young people always do that everywhere in every part of the world, and you've got to understand that young people will challenge your own ideas and your own expectations. They'll confound things that you think in every way. So if your plans to do A, they'll do B, basically. But you've just got to be prepared for that, and you've got to know when learning's happening, and then seize it, and then celebrate it.
Flexibility, I think, is one of the key ones, because things just constantly change and you need to work with your colleagues. Something may happen that has an effect, so colleagues may need to change what they do, groups may need to change, lesson plans may need to change, and it's having all the colleagues that can work with that.
It's a combination, really, isn't it, of being sensitive to the needs of students and having a very flexible approach, so that as things change, as they always do, within the first minute of embarking on anything, we're not fazed by it.
I think, yes, we need to be very patient, very flexible when the things go wrong during the lesson, which happens very often. We need to be flexible to actually change the topic or move a little bit into a different way and explore this more, because they are interested of finding the way out, about completely different things. So we have to be very flexible.
You are free to follow where the learner's interests lie. Something that we've just been doing, we were doing a little bit about, for level 1 maths, which is about speed, distance and time. The young people didn't take to it very well, but they needed to know it. So I sort of devised a bit more of a more traditional algebraic approach, really. But people became much more comfortable with that, because there was a sort of rote learning, I suppose, was going on with it. Or it was a bit of both. There was some rote learning, there was some learning by experiment. Anyway, to cut a long story short, that went all the way up to solving quadratic equations, just because we kept following interesting bits. We drew graphs of things. I mean, I was thinking possibly of doing some differential calculus, just because you could teach people how to do it, tell them it was a really, it was A-level stuff, and show them they could do it. People love being able to do things. That's basically it. So that's the kind of innovative approach. So I've taught sonnets, I've taught all sorts of things that would be considered outside They're not on a strict curriculum, and most people would think that they're not suitable for the young people that we're working with. But just the ability to take a subject and run with it and really inspire people and make people proud of what they've achieved, that's it in a nutshell. That is, I mean, what else would you want to do? But that's it. Take things that are interesting, run with it, take it to really somewhere where the learner wouldn't have thought they could possibly go, and then show them where they are.
The beauty is that, you know, we can do anything, because really any aspect of life has, you know, interest and knowledge and explanation, and you know, you can build in the maths, the English, the science, you know, around anything really, as long as it's interesting to the students.
The thing about writing poems is, it is about writing poems, but it's not just about writing poems. What's more important is that these young people have been struggling for a long time to actually use English properly, and so that's what they've been concentrating on at school and whatnot, reading, writing and saying, you know, using the correct words and everything. And so what we're trying to do is get them to be confident to play around with English and to make words up, and even when they're, you know, you can't really make mistakes because you can actually have fun with it, changing your mind, coping with when things don't turn out quite right. That's another thing that they really struggle with, and then they've always been criticised for that in the past. So this is really, it's really, yeah, it's a whole other thing really.
Not taking things too seriously is it's not so much a skill as I suppose a quality, depending on how you define these things. But yes, I think that's certainly one of the key abilities you need. I think we do take things very seriously in the round, but you know, on a minute by minute basis, you've got to be able to shrug things off and to accept when things don't work, and I suppose be very happy when they occasionally do. I suppose it's a combination really, isn't it, of being sensitive to the needs of students and having a very flexible approach. I don't know, I mean, I think to do this job you do have to care about, you know, the students and like them, and if you got those two things, then you know, the rest anyone could do it really. It's not, you know, it's not majorly difficult, because we're not dealing with astrophysics, we are dealing with fairly basic skills, but it's just a certain temperament, I suppose, yeah.
We've got complete backup from our manager. She will always, agree with us. Whatever is our decision, she will agree with us, because we know the kids, we know what situation is like, and then we can make decisions. So, for example, today we discussed one of the boys who's getting into troubles because, you know. So we decided we will move him to another day of being out of a place to do work experience, because he will benefit, from the work experience more. And we know we can do it because we've got full backup from our manager. If it's better for the kid, because we know the situation, we know what's going on, we know the students, we can make decisions.